Hello, hello, hello. Hi, ATHLers. Happy Tuesday, December 14th, 2021. I am coming to you guys from the beautiful state of Pennsylvania. Hello to all my new members, to those who just who joined, and other people from different forum as well. Hello, welcome. Thanks for honoring my invite to join and learn more about healthcare. I love teaching about healthcare. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Abby Tyler, formal Abby Tyler, Abigail Tyler. I am family nurse practitioner. I practice in the state of Pennsylvania, private practice in the state of Pennsylvania, in the city of Philadelphia. I was a nurse for 22 years prior to this. So just my little background. Today I'm going to be talking about holiday health tips. As always, my disclaimer, do not make any changes to your regimen without first speaking to your personal provider. So I'm gonna start by first I want to say hope you guys said trying to make sure you're taking it easy out there. COVID is still in town, and this Omicron virus is going around too. So please just be careful and do as much as you can to keep yourself safe. Not just stay out of life and not meet with other people, but just do as much as you can to keep yourself, you and your family safe. You know your pre-existing conditions and all that too. So take extra precautions for people who are higher risk. Okay. So, before I start, just indulge me for 1 second here. I'm just gonna go on here and make sure that I am live. Okay, so, okay. I'm just gonna go in here and see where we are right now. Okay, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt there. My internet is kind of working a little slow, so I'm just trying to make sure my other forum is getting this information as well. So I'm going to put this here and go to Abby Tyler's Healthy Living, the group. I have a group for those who are asking and wondering. So I want to make sure that we're live there as well. So everybody is getting it in real time. And there we go. Okay. Alrighty, so we're there. For those of you who also don't come on Facebook that often and you're on YouTube, I'm also on YouTube. Same name, Abby Tyler's Healthy Living. So in case if you want to go in there and watch the video from there, or later on, you can watch it from there anytime. Okay, so let me just get into this. I don't want to make this too long. I'm putting my glasses on because I need to be able to see. And once again, for those of you who wear glasses, everybody should get the eyes checked at least once a year, and as recommended by your optometrist if you need to follow up every twice a year or how often. And if you have diabetes, hypertension, also you want to make sure hypertension, which is high blood pressure, you want to make sure you're getting your eyes checked at least annually. Okay, so I'm going to start with holiday health tips. I'm saying trying to having a hard time getting my H together here. Okay, so we're going to start with medications. Okay, so make sure this time of the year, most of the time that the pharmacy is going to close down early, and also doctor's offices close at a certain time too. So you want to make sure that before the holiday season, and especially if you're traveling, that you have enough of your medications to last you over the two week period if you're going to be away that long of a period, or if you're going to be away from your house and all. Make sure you have enough medications around. Make sure you have enough refills too, so just in case you happen to be over in another state or somewhere else and you go for a refill, you have enough there. Call your family doctor, make sure that, and if you have any other specialists that are ordering medications for you, make sure that they have the medications and everything set for you ahead of time. Okay, also, if you have your medication, make sure when you go away or even at home and all that, make sure it's being stored properly. If it needs to be refrigerated, make sure it stays in the refrigerator. Make sure you go in somewhere where they have electricity continuously. You can't afford to have medications that needs to be refrigerated sitting in somewhere where it loses the potency. And sometimes if the components are all destroyed, it becomes unsafe. So you want to make sure you have that. Also, when you're going away, making sure you're checking all your medical devices like glucometer, those who have medication, your machine to check your blood sugar. If it requires batteries and all that, make sure you have extra batteries. Make sure you have ample supply of batteries. So at least that way, if something happens, you have enough to go with. Your BiPAP, CPAP machine, people who use the device to help them breathe better at night for sleep apnea, make sure you have it. If you have I think some require batteries, but I think most of them require electricity. So make sure you have your plugs and everything ready to go. For nebulizer treatments, those who need that for the asthma or intermittently and all, especially for children, and you get breathing treatment, make sure you have that. Make sure you check everything, have a checklist that you're checking it off when you're going. If you have allergies when you go into parties and family Christmas parties and things like that, children especially, you want to make sure if they have the allergies, shellfish allergies, peanut allergy, make sure you ask first what they're cooking. So because some of these food have stuff in there, some people can eat certain things and it doesn't bother them if there's a component like shellfish in there, but some people have complete absolute allergies to it. So make sure you have that. For those of you who have had anaphylactic attack before from certain things, meaning that to where your throat closes completely and you almost like you're about to die, they have their EpiPen. And make sure you have that with you at all times when you go into anywhere. And after you inject yourself, you also have to follow up with to go to the ER for follow up. So you want to make sure you have that at all times. And if you're going away, you make sure you have that. Make sure you have your doctor's phone number readily available. So when you do call, if you have to call them right away to ask the questions, or let's say God forbid you're in the emergency room and they have to call your doctors to ask some questions and all, they have that information. You have the doctor's information, the doctor's name and phone number. We're going on to for seniors. You want to make sure when seniors are going somewhere, they have their canes. If they use a cane, they have their canes, their medication. Again, make sure that, like I said, if you're the person who is responsible for, excuse me here, if you're the person responsible for the medication, your mother or father's medication, make sure your sister or brother or other siblings also have that list. So if they go away, let's say they live with you or they live somewhere else and they go in a way to come into your house, they have their doctor's number and they have all their medication listed, everything listed. So at least that way, not at least, so it's very important that they have that. So if you have any questions, you can just pick it up and just call the doctor's office, or if they're coming from a nursing home or wherever, you have that information. They should have it written down somewhere in medication. Like I said before, don't say, oh yeah, I just take my aspirin, or I just take this. I take my aspirin 81 milligrams. I take it daily. Or I take my aspirin 325 milligrams. I take that daily. Okay, so the whole thing should be written out. So you're not just saying, I'm taking this medication. Alrighty, I'm just gonna lower this for a second here. Like I said, senior, the ambulatory devices, the walkers, the canes, and everything. Make sure you have all of it ready to go. Coming to children, we already talked about food allergies. Make sure you have the food allergies, you have everything down. Make sure also, again, if the children don't live with both parents, or even if they do, make sure each parent has a list of their medications and everything in their phone. There are secret apps that you can write down, or also they can be written on paper. But the thing about paper, if they forget it or it gets wet or something happens, then they don't have that medication. So make sure everybody has that information. Going when family and children around other family members, you want to make sure if that child doesn't want to hug a family member or an adult, male or female or whatever the situation may be, if they don't want to hug an adult family member, don't force them. Listen to your children. Sometimes they're in our families. Everybody knows nobody's saying that, oh, it's not happy in my family, or no, nobody can do that in my family. There are predators in just about every family. There are people out there, that people who you love, there are predators. Okay, so you want to make sure if your child said, no, you know what, no, I don't want to hug that person. No, I don't want to sit in that person's lap. No, I don't want to be with that person. I don't want to be left with this person while you run to the store. Listen to your children. Just say, okay, she doesn't want to. She's a little shy right now. Just make some excuses. Don't force your child. Don't say this is not what we do. This is our custom. We do this. We don't know.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Sorry. Okay. All right, so make sure they like I said, if they don't want to do it, don't force them to do it. And when you're somewhere with your children and family members all around, please make sure you keep an eye on your children at all times. There are many times people go somewhere and they just leave their children, and it's like, oh, we're all in the family, we're all friends and all that too, so let the children just go play. Even if that's the case, every once in a while, go in there and just check up on them, making sure they're safe. Okay, because also they can be getting into other things that you don't want them getting into, so make sure they're safe at all time. If you have any guns in the home, People have guns for many reasons. I'm not here to judge. People need it for protection. People need it for many other reasons. If you do have guns in the home, please make sure that your guns is safely stacked away and it's locked at all times so the kids cannot get into it. I've heard hearing a lot of shooting lately where one kid got the gun and were playing around with it and shot the other person by mistake, and you don't want that left on your conscience. And plus, if you leave your guns around where kids can get into it, that's a criminal offense, right? Also, because you were careless when you left a gun for somebody to play with, for little kids to play with or teenagers to play with. So make sure if you have any guns in your home, any weapons, please make sure they're kept away safely from the children. Also for choking accidents and all, make sure you're watching your children when they're eating. They're sitting down. I see when I go to some parties or I go to some events, I see children running around with chicken in their mouth, or they got their lollipop. That is so dangerous because if they fall, that's going to go right in the throat. So also, if you go online, like Heimlich maneuver, they don't call it a Heimlich maneuver anymore. It's like rescue breathing. So if you can learn that, at least have some idea. And also, you know how to call 911 if anything should happen. But you want to make sure that you're helping your child while you're waiting for 911, because the paramedics are not going to get there that very minute. So you want to make sure that you're getting, you learn that so you can be able to help yourself and help your children and anybody else who's there. Okay, tree safety, Christmas tree, please make sure that you're watering. If you have natural trees, please make sure you're watering it as much as possible. Keep an eye on them, kind of look at them every day too, because the hot lights and everything is resting against the the pines on the tree, that can cause a fire. A lot of people lose their lives and or their homes to fire damage every year. So please make sure that you read all the instructions that come with it. Even if artificial trees, you want to make sure keep children away from it because they get attracted to the little light bulbs and everything, and dogs or cats, keep pets away from that, so keep them safe. For women, making sure if you're on birth control, making sure you have enough of that. If you're not supposed to be drinking on that, don't be drinking on it. You're having a good time, making sure that you're taking your birth control pills. If it's pills, you're taking it every day like you're supposed to. If you're not ready to get pregnant, okay, so make sure you're doing that. Have backup protection, and for men too. If you're having a relationship with somebody who you're not involved with or you're not ready to get pregnant, please make sure you use protection. Also, you protect yourself from sexually transmitted diseases as well. Come into healthy eating and exercising. I know this is the time of the year where everybody's going to be having a good time with their friends and their loved ones and eat as much as you can, because last year everybody was away from their family and we weren't meeting that much. So just make sure that you're eating, don't hurt if you get up after eating, you get up and you guys go for a walk. It's going to be cold. I know that. But at the time you can also say, let's go to the mall, walk around every day, especially if you go on the way every day and you're going to be away for the whole weekend or so, because I think Christmas is Friday or Thursday this year. But go away, go walking, walk it off, eat. If you're supposed to be eating certain things, like staying away from that. I know people are like, oh, it's the holiday season. Do everything in moderation. Don't overdo it, because a lot of people too, what happens after the holiday, they come back and then they're there and they have like no, is having chest pain and things like that and reflux, and we have to go through all that. So you don't want to end up in the hospital if you don't have to. Okay, so making sure you eat healthy, go for a walk, wash your hands. Please do not drink. If you drink, please drink responsibly. Please do not drink and drive, because you don't want to go in the car and get somebody hurt or hurt yourself or kill somebody. Please making sure you don't drink and drive. All right. If you find yourself a little tipsy and somebody's telling you you're a little tipsy, don't deny it. Just lay on the couch and just go to sleep, or just wait until somebody can drive you home, or call Uber or, a Lyft or something. Don't go driving and cause harm to somebody else or cause death to somebody else and yourself as well. So please be careful with that. And I said I didn't want to go too long with this. Traveling. If you are traveling overseas, okay, this is a warning that is given to, and most people talk to the providers, the doctors. This is a warning that is given to everybody when you're traveling overseas to countries that don't have adequate health care. Their system is poor. Okay, I'm not up to par. I'm not saying the system in America, in the West, is superb. We all have our problems here, and we talk about it. We talk about it every day on social media and on the TV. So nobody's saying that where we are, everything is perfect. But if you're going to somewhere where the healthcare system is a little poor over there, you want to make sure that you discuss it directly and completely with your doctor. Okay, they're going to tell you if you have uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled hypertension, if you have high risk of stroke, you have kidney disease, you have illnesses, asthma, and things like that. You have illnesses that you need to be monitored frequently. Okay, and if any kind of exacerbation when you go in somewhere and something should happen, people are saying, oh yes, well, if anything happens, I will just fly back. It doesn't work that way. Okay, when you are going, when you're having a stroke, you're having a heart attack, they're talking about, but if you in America, the ambulance gets you and all. You remember they have trained paramedics in the ambulance. They got the IV inside you. They're starting some medication, emergency medication. They're starting everything while they're in the field. Like we tell, trauma care belongs and starts in the field. You're not coming just in the ambulance with just somebody who's driving and not trained paramedics. Okay, so they're starting you there. The hospital is preparing for you. When you get to that door, by the time you get from that door to the point where you're on the operating table, it should be 90 minutes, no more than that. Okay, and sometimes it's not even, you have to get there even faster than that. So if you're somewhere where you're going to be, you don't have paramedics, trained paramedics who are training in basic life support, as advanced cardiac life support, and other training, and they don't have that, and you go into a hospital that doesn't have the interventional cardiologists and all the different specialists, neurologists and nephrologists, all those people in there, and nurses and other respiratory therapists. I'm talking about the lab and all those things are not there, and people are not trained and do it most of the time. And you're thinking that your chances of surviving will be less. Not saying you're gonna die, not saying people don't die over here, but I'm just saying if you were told that you had all of this and you had a little bit of this, okay, and you say, okay, yeah, fine. I'm just saying, know that even if you speak to your provider and they tell you, like I've had people who will come to me and say, okay, I'm going to be traveling. I say, okay, this is what you're going to be dealing with when you go. Okay, you have to say, okay, I'm fine. I will take my chances, and you have to be content with that, because if anything happens, you can't come back and say, oh no, they told me this, because even we're not discouraging you from going anywhere. People want to go back to their homeland. People want to go back to their family and friends or whatever, business, whatever, and all that. Have a contingency plan, and making sure that that contingency plan is not going to be top notch. Okay, because if you're far away from the city, even if you are in the city and you're talking about traffic, you don't have ambulances that's going to come to the hospital quickly and get you to where they have to stabilize you. If they think you're going to die in flight, they're not taking you. Okay, because what would be the point? I mean, it sounds cruel, but what would be the point of them trying to take you? And plus, chances are, when you get in the plane or whatever in a helicopter, just the air pressure alone could, lead to danger. So you want to make sure that you know all these things that are going on, and you say, okay, yes, I'm going to take, and make sure you carry enough medicine. God forbid if something happens and you have to stay there longer. Whatever your COVID test comes back positive. Okay, you have to stay a little longer, and you didn't take enough medicine with you. So you want to make sure you do that. You want to make sure when you go there to have your list of medications when you go there, have your doctor's number. So if they have to call over here for anything, your medical history. So if you have to go to the hospital and you cannot talk when you go to the hospital, whoever took you to the hospital will have the information, and they can do that. Because people always saying when you go somewhere, oh my God, they start you on a drip and they don't know anything about your history and all that. But most people don't know about the history. So especially if you were there all the time and you don't have that, you don't know your history. So of course they're going to start your medication to save your life at that point. And sometimes it can be dangerous, but at that point they have to do what they have to do to save your life. So if you don't have all those things there and you say, okay, yes, I'm going to go anyways, then fine. That's your decision. Even if you're in the hospital and your blood pressure is like 300 over 210, and we tell you, unless if you're there for a psychiatric reason and they have you in a hold, if you say you go in, you want to leave now, we'll be like, we'll explain to you the danger of leaving. We'll tell you, hopefully you go to another hospital or go see your doctor right away. Chances are more than likely, your doctor will probably tell you go right back to the hospital, but they won't hold you. So when people say, oh, you're trying to discourage people, or you're this and you're that and all that, please, if I didn't care, and this is my field. Okay, so part of what we do as family nurse practitioner, even primary care, is preventative care. Okay, so if we know this and you know this and you know yourself, so you can sit there and you can talk to your friends and be like, oh, whatever, she said this, she said that, whatever. You know yourself. Okay, your family knows your health, you know your health and all that. So you have to make that decision and you have to be content with it. But in the meantime, like I said, make sure you take all your medications, take enough medications that's going to last you, in just in case you get stuck there, your pre-existing condition, have a contingency plan. Have it written down, have it paid for. There's insurance that you can pay for while you're there. Sometimes it's a little bit more expensive depending on the package that you take, but making sure that you have that when you go. And know your risk and be content. Either way, I wish you the best. All we can do as providers is tell you this is what we're dealing with. You have to make that decision, and you have to be comfortable with that. Especially if you're traveling with children who have illnesses that need to be monitored frequently, you want to make sure you take care of them when you're there and keep them safe, and making sure that if anything should happen, you know how to get out, and hopefully you'll get out in time. Okay, so in the meantime, also, like I already mentioned, about gun safety during this time of the year, also that's when you have a lot of domestic violence issues. So I know I talked about domestic violence in October, but domestic violence is a year long, and especially during the holidays when people get frustrated and get too stressed out, they take it out in some for some whatever reasons. So many reasons that it shouldn't be happening, but it happens anyways. So making sure that you got, I told you before, have your the numbers ready, so you have to call anybody for help and know all the different things. You can go back and read my domestic violence videos, watch that and see all the different instructions I put in there. And also, take care of each other. Watch your stress level. Don't let anybody get to you. You're going to be going to a family member's house, and somebody's going to say, say something to your kids, or say something that you thought you had put behind you. Oh, I thought you were still married to that person. Oh, you're pregnant. Oh, you this, oh, you that. And you just have to practice what you have to say, and just like, oh, thank you. All righty. Okay. Yeah, I get your point. I see that. And just kill them with kindness. Kill them with kindness. And if you have to react, breathe and react in a way where you won't say something that's going to really cause so much pain that everybody who's sitting in there is going to remember that for the longest time. And some people, some people deserve it. Some people, you just need to tell them straight up, stop it, and and just put them in that place. Sometimes that's the only thing, that's the only language they understand. So, but I hope that's not going to be the case. Practice what you have to say. Breathe. If it means for you to walk away, doesn't mean you're a coward, doesn't mean you're less than. It just means you're walking away and you're trying to protect your peace. It's the holiday season. There's so many things that's going on in this world that we cannot control, but what we can control, we try to control it as much as possible. Okay. And then last but not least, New Year's resolution. It's not too early to start a New Year's resolution. New Year's resolution, lifestyle change. I know people say, "Oh my God, you did New Year's resolution," and people hate to say it because it's like if you say it, then somebody, "Oh my God, I told you were going to be doing this. I told you you're not going to be eating it." Whatever it is you choose to call it, lifestyle change, New Year's resolution, whatever. Start getting ready for it. And like I said, it's never too late. It's never too late. You can start now. You can start walking earlier. You can start going to the gym early. You can start doing more exercise. If you have exercise equipment at home, you can start doing all of that now. And I did this goal for a couple of years back when I did it in my old forum. It's modifying the modifiables. You have certain things that you brought from your family or your race or your sex, and family DNA of certain diseases that came from your family. There's nothing you can do about it. It's part of your DNA. It doesn't mean you're going to get those diseases. It just puts you at a higher risk. So you want to make sure you say, okay, I'm coming with this. I cannot modify this. I can modify this. I can modify my exercise routine. I can modify how much I eat, the portion control, the kind of food that I eat, taking my medications every time like I'm supposed to. If I have any problems and it's going on for a little while, I need to call my doctor's office and make an appointment to be seen. Making sure you have your annual physical, getting your annual blood work, because certain things don't have any symptoms, and if you didn't have that blood work and something that could have been addressed when you were maybe 30 or 50, and then you're like 55, 60, and now it's like it's too late. So you want to make sure you see your doctor. Even for the young people, especially young people out there, please see your family doctor at least once a year. Get your blood work. You see them. You don't have to see them anymore. It's like, especially if you're fine, but most of the time I've seen a lot of young people come in with high, blood sugar is very high, and we have to, the cholesterol levels really high. So we also have to make sure we start them on a healthy diet, and not saying you're going to be starving you or putting on any diet. We're just saying this is where we are right now. If you continue this way, or you just have to find other ways to put more exercise into it. And when you're younger, it's easy for you to lose the weight. It's easy for you to change things around when you're younger, as opposed to when you're older and you're like so set in your ways. So eat healthy, drink a lot of fluid, preferably water. Okay, drink a lot of water, keep yourself hydrated, keep your doctor's numbers around. If you have allergies, making sure you do that. Check with your children, making sure they're not involved in anything. If you have any guns or weapons in your house, keep it safely. Have any emergency numbers, have your medical equipment. If you go in somewhere that requires electricity, try to know that ahead of time. So if you need your medical device that needs to be refrigerated or anything, or need to be put on, plugged in to work, you want to make sure you have all that. Okay, so I hope I said this is not all encompassing. So there's so many more things that I could go on forever. But most important, just drink, be happy, celebrate with family members. And I understand that a lot of things that are going on this time of the year. There are some people who are not, things are not in the right place for them right now, especially where the weather, things going down south. So please, I pray you all keep safe. Keep safe out there. Take care of each other. If you like this video, I'm going to share in other forums and all that. Please watch and become a member. Also, there are many other helpful videos that I have below this one. So please watch, join. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, you can join also if you want to watch it from there. And click, give me a thumbs up on this one and just become a member. And I look forward to speaking to all of you the next time. If you have any questions or comments, leave it below. I'll respond to them later on. And for anybody who wants to send me any personal messages in my inbox, I'm not responding to any personal messages. Okay, so if it doesn't have to do with healthcare, please refrain from, you know. So I'm just trying to keep that my professional life professional. Okay, so thank you all for watching. I hope I didn't leave anything important out. If I did, I would just add that in the comments section. So once again, until we meet again, for all of you who are watching right now, I say thank you so much. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. And for those of you who will be watching later, I say thank you also. And keep safe. I will try to be back here on Thursday. Okay. Just to kind of finish up the week because Friday I'll have be going to an event. So you all take care and thank you again so much. Thank you for all your love and support. Okay, thank you. And for those of you on YouTube, I'm going to be uploading this video in a few minutes. Okay, thank you. Take care of each other. Bye bye. God bless.